Have you noticed that everywhere you look these days, there's a camera? There's someone watching you, whether it's at a gas station or at a Walmart, a grocery store, anywhere you're driving, even at someone's home, there's a camera. So I got to thinking about that a little bit as Christians, as followers of Jesus Christ. How well do we do in watching others, in watching over others, in caring for others? Do we care? Do we pay attention to those who are hurting? Do we laugh with those who are laughing? Do we cry with those who are crying? Do we struggle with those who are struggling? All of those questions when we think of what it means to watch over one another. You realize that people, when you ask them this question, how are you doing? They're always going to say, fine. But the reality is, they're probably not fine. Well, that's not Jesus' desire for them, for us, for the people within the life of the church, those who follow Him. Followers of Jesus are to laugh together, to cry together, to struggle together, to be there for one another, even to mourn together. But that seems to be a foreign concept in our culture these days. Even in the life of the church, it's often, well, that's just my problem. Don't worry about it. Well, no, it's all of our problem. We want to be there for one another. What we've decided to do here at Asbury Church, what we really feel is important, is that we would begin to talk about something and implement something called well groups. There's an image of a well, and there's a well house, there's a rope, there's a bucket. We drop it down deep, down the hole to bring up fresh living water. In the same way, our desire is to dig deeper, to go deeper in a relationship with God through Jesus and with one another in a spiritual formation group known as a well group. A group, if we're going to talk about a well group, in our case for today, in our context, we're talking of 8, 10, maybe 12, no more than 12 people who gather together around the table. Maybe something like this. We have it set up where there's about 9 people who could come here and gather, or people could gather in their homes. You might notice behind over here is a sofa. People like to gather around in the homes. There's chairs that we can put up around. There's an image that's on this video of a group that's meeting together in someone's home. We can do it that way. We can do it in multiple places. But the point is that we would gather together on a consistent basis to reach out and to watch over one another in love. And one of the things that's important about this is that there is mutual encouragement and support and a commitment to Jesus and to one another. Even a word that sometimes people are scared of, but accountability, that we're just there for one another to make sure everyone is doing okay. One of the things is that it's not an affinity group, it's not a Bible study, it's not a prayer group, although some of those things do occur within. It's not getting rid of Sunday school classes or life groups or anything like that. It's just a group to help us move into a deeper relationship with God and each other through mutual sharing and support and encouragement. It's discipleship, really. It's the genius of Methodism. It's relational and intentional, and yes, it's confidential, because we share at times those things that only those people around the table need to know about so that they can pray and be there for one another. We follow something what we call as a recipe. There is a little bit of an order of the way the group goes, and we'll provide that to you for those who are interested, but just to help. It's not based upon a teacher, but just someone who facilitates, and they just work through this recipe, if you will, this order to help us stay on track as we ask questions of one another each week or each time that we meet, just to be there for one another. So what I'd like to do, what I'd like to invite you to do, is to come September the 15th. That's a Sunday evening. It's an opportunity where it doesn't conflict with Wednesday nights or Sunday mornings or anything, to come for an orientation. There's a Q&A time, question and answers, to talk about well groups, to talk about spiritual formation, to talk about what it means to go a little deeper in our faith in discipleship with one another, to grow in love with Jesus, with one another, and to watch over one another in love. Hope to see you then.